Hey guys, I'm Chris,
And I'm Mike.
and welcome back to this week's No Limits, the Dark Wolf Podcast. How's it going
Yes.
today, Mike?
Good, man. I'm excited for episode 2 of our Dark Wolf coverage. And for folks who don't know, we are the Thriller after show. We will be spoiling books and TV shows. Today we're spoiling episode 2 of the Dark Wolf series in The Terminal List on Amazon Prime. But usually we're spoiling books.
2 and 3.
2 and 3. Episodes 2 and 3. We usually spoil books. Today we're spoiling those episodes. If you haven't heard our coverage of episode 1, we had a great time talking about how it was, for me, everything I wanted in a TV show, bringing to life characters like Ben Edwards, Rafe Hastings, and Mo Farouk. Today we're doing episodes 2 and 3, but before we do, we have to give a special thank you to our patrons. Our patrons in the Thriller Pod Book Club are the ones who keep this podcast alive. So if you want to help support the pod, you will be the reason we can make more podcasts. Just head to thrillerpod.com, click the Patreon tab to join the book club, join the group chat, and there's always Thriller talk going on in the group chat, day and night. The Thriller talk never stops at thrillerpod.com.
Boom, baby. Yeah, like surprising. We haven't gotten much action about this season. I guess we need to spicing it up a little bit and get everyone's opinion. But anyways, me and you, we're here to talk episode 2 and 3. And boy, Mike, I am ready to talk episode 2 and 3. So coming off of episode 1, I had said I gave the score B+. It may be an A- depending on the curve, you know?
That's going up today, right?
Oh, 100%. Episodes 2 and 3.
They're hitting.
Awesome. And I think, I think because it makes that hard shift from being a military episode with elements of spycraft and stuff like that to truly being like a spy show. And we're getting to see more and more of Ben Edwards in his element, in his transition, like this guy who, Rafe even says, you're going to have the ability to put the brakes on. And he's like, at the end, he's like, fuck the brakes, right?
Fuck the brakes.
Like he is ready and willing. Even just to get a little bit more of Rafe and have him play a bigger role, and to see this, team that's evolving. And, finally, like I realized that, oh shit, like I said on the last episode, that's Mo Farouk. And we get more of Mo. Great actor, love him. And then Landry, like getting Landry in here and bringing him back, like he was very minor, like you had said in the last episode, they mentioned his name. It kind of was like, wait, why is his name so familiar? And now bringing him back in, he's part of the team. Sense. It clicks. And, we're not going to spoil like anything about that. We want you guys to, well, first of all, we don't know what's going to be revealed in the series about the character. And two, let's just say him and Mo, book 2, True Believer, very important characters. And, if you haven't read that book, I highly encourage you to go read it, come back. We listened to our podcast about it. We covered it on the was it the Thriller Podcast at the time, or was it the Mitch Rapp Pod? I forget. But anyways, if you search our names, No Limits, I think it's Jack Carr, you will find our episodes.
Let's just plug ourselves because this feed, the Thriller Podcast, is season 3 of the No Limits extravaganza. Season 1, we covered all the Mitch Rapp books by Vince Flynn, Kyle Mills, and now Don Bentley. Season 2, we did all the Brad Thor books about Scot Harvath. So if you're into the books, you love those series, check them out. But I think what really made us start the Thriller Pod was we wanted to cover so much more. And really, Jack Carr, I would say, was that next series that we wanted to dedicate something to. And on the Thriller Pod, we've done, probably hundreds of books, tens of different authors probably. And it really was kicked off because we wanted somewhere to dedicate to Jack Carr without always comparing it to Mitch Rapp or always comparing it to Scot Harvath. So we really started the Thriller Podcast as a season, the one you're watching right now. Subscribe, hit that button. But we started because we thought Jack Carr deserved that level of coverage. We did all the books, we did the TV show, we did extra episodes, even interviewed him. And then that spurred us on to so many other spy and military authors that we got to cover. So he really inspired a lot of what we're doing here on this pod. And so to see not only his James Reese character come alive, but give the due diligence and the time to let Ben, Rafe, Mo, Landry, all these other characters come into the fore. And I would say ultimately what's a sign of respect to a universe is if you can create something beyond the books that is so in line, in universe, or in spirit of what the original author intended. And to me, this series is doing that bar none. And another character you and I didn't even mention yet who deserves might be the winner of the pod. We didn't do winners and losers last episode for episode 1, but every time we cover a book, we do winners and losers. Jed motherfucking Haverford. Jed Haverford's entrance in episode 2 and everything he does through episode 3 is phenomenal. Phenomenal acting, story, dialogue, writing, and perhaps the most important part, it's so Jack Carr-esque. Everything about him is the later Jack Carr, where Reese, Rafe, all these guys are dabbling with it with the CIA. Some hate it, Hastings family. So some are learning to love it. Reese, bringing in the CIA in this way through a character like Jed almost is a nod to James Reese's father from the books, which we're going to get in just a few months
also
with the next book. Also Vic Rodriguez, all the people in the books who were CIA. Jed Haverford is like this perfect encapsulation of all of that, but it's outside the books, which shows you respect the universe, you respect the readers, you respect the author. And I think his character is just so terminalist. It's unbelievable.
I was going to say, like, Robert Wisdom as Jed Haverford is crushing it. I don't know.
Master.
If any of you have watched one of my favorite actors from The Wire, Bunny, like the police, I don't know if he's a police chief or he's high up in the police anyways, but great actor on that show, is killing it here. Like his opening scene, buying the Blantons. You heard him say 2 Blantons, right?
2 Blantons.
You know that, yeah. And then, him popping up back at the swimming pool, and then, seeing him act as this Thomas Stansfield-esque, operator, but, elevated, the mastermind behind this and bringing this coalition together. Like,
who's been there, done that?
I don't know.
Who put in his time?
Right, and I don't know, he has like immediate buy-in for me. Like I immediately like recognized who he was. He obviously establishes his bona fides quick, and you could understand why Ben Edwards like immediately respects him and is immediately bought in and wants to, he's obviously very good at being a CIA case officer and recruiting, because he quickly, I feel like having this hard transition, like having this, weird at the airport, or not at the airport, but at the hotel, just right after they got, let go, like conveniently the CIA happened to be there. It kind of like all fit for me. I don't know, like it just worked.
It's so
I feel
CIA.
like he's doing the work as the actor to like to make that happen.
I agree. It also came after a moment where Taylor Kitsch was forced to fake it, or Ben Edwards was forced to fake it. This was such a disgraceful thing, being kicked out of the teams. I mean, just think about that goodbye at the helicopter, right? Where he's leaving the base. This is such a world, earth-shattering event. You have to get swept away with the tide. You can't fight it. And so you just have to put on this false front. And he's talking about getting motorcycles, going out into the Black Forest in Germany, doing all these crazy things. And Rafe is just staring at him like, what? Who the hell is this? Who are you? And it's at that moment where Jed preys on your vulnerabilities, right? He knows. It's kind of like, what's that saying? If you want somebody to do your bidding, find what they so desperately crave and give them the tools to master it. Find what it is they want and make them believe that you can give it to them, or make them believe that with your assistance, they'll be able to do it. And
Sure.
then they're so reliant on you. And Jed, he does that to Ben, but at the same time, it's mutual. Ben needs him as much as he's going to need Ben. He's got the time sensitive op, this nightclub hit where Denawi's going to be. So he needs a guy like Ben. He needs a shooter. As he says, I need 2 shooters. It's time sensitive. But Ben's also lost. This motorcycle and all this other shit he's talking about is he's swimming. He does not know how to deal with the grief of losing the brotherhood, being kicked out of the teams. And Jed gives him the tools to say, you can still have purpose. You can still be on mission. Mission's going to look a little different. And the same things that pissed you off and made you snap when you killed Al-Jabouri, that made you go outside the chain of command, I'm going to let you do that. I want you to do it. I need a guy to improvise. I need a guy to think outside the box with your skill set. He's given him everything he wants, and you can't say no, that sold.
Right. And I guess we're led to believe that there had to have been some time passed between the very end of last episode and where we pick up on this episode. They obviously had to do some sort of investigation. They had to interview all of them. So it's quick cut between here to them being discharged to them, getting on a plane, end up in Germany. But obviously, Jed had enough time to go to the site, interview the witnesses, and so let's say there's at least a week or so has gone by.
Weeks, yeah.
And he obviously, being a trained CIA operative, sees that, I have an opportunity here. Yeah, they might have burnt our asset, but in doing so, we've now gained something better. And let's see how we can benefit from this.
Well, I think that's also part of the problem is what Ben's sick of is nobody sees the bigger picture, which is mission accomplished. And instead, the CIA guys who are making the calls on the field, affecting our operators and putting them in harm's way, only see their slice of the pie. Al-Jabouri's our asset. We need him. He's giving us our intel. Where Jed realizes, Al-Jabouri, it's one little slice of the pie, one little cog in the machine. I can put you on bigger and better things. I got a team running ops that we don't care about that one asset. You offed him. No big deal. Where most of the CIA leadership is screaming, I want heads for that. Heads need to roll for that. And it's you sometimes got to step away and see what's the best way to accomplish this mission. Don't get so hung up on your one asset who died and want to kick out, any of the military guys who made that call. Go ahead and run some ops and do these bigger picture things, which is part of what the nightclub scene is to get to Denawi. And episode 3, holy crap, we pivot again. Now it's about Iranian nukes and a nuke deal.
Oh,
so,
yeah. We quickly escalate to, when we finally get to the end of episode 3 where, Farouk obviously posing as Denawi meets with this geologist who happens to have a nuclear research lab, giving him these bearings to be able to, do these centrifuges much faster, stuff like that. I don't know. It's super compelling. And obviously, they're realizing that, shit is changing in real time and the stakes are being upped immediately. And we've caught onto something big and we have to go.
And that, I think, backs up the switch from episode 1 to episode 2 and 3. We can't be this very myopic. We're downrange in Mosul trying to save the city. That's a very important mission, but it's only one part of this bigger global war on terror. And so now a guy who is selling weapons, selling bombs and material in Mosul is connected to some nuclear deal going on in Iran. And there's financiers and there's this European guy, right? The guy in the nightclub who is passing the money along. There's a bigger picture. So what the guy's doing downrange is super important. But what Jed is selling is you can do so much more than that. And I don't know where they go. I don't like when a story just becomes nuke on the loose. So if it just becomes, let's stop Iran's nuclear program because we don't want nukes on the loose, that's one thing. But I don't know. It's like a pivot that does enough to be okay, this is going to be something new. This is going to be a big storyline. but I don't know exactly what that storyline will be. So I'm excited about that. And Mossad's involved, right? Let's up the stakes even more. This Mossad CIA joint operation.
That's the other thing. I don't, obviously, I have not watched episodes 4 and 5, so I don't know. This is pure speculation on my part. For some reason, I don't trust Eliza. I feel like she has this, I don't know, I feel like Mossad's going to do what Mossad wants to do. We've seen this time in and time out in any of our series we've covered where they've dabbled into the Mossad stuff. She's an interesting character, and obviously there's some romantic involvement between her and Edwards. Her introduction as a character was freaking awesome. Like
as the waitress,
with her as a waitress,
and they're all guessing who the agent is, who's the Mossad asset, and they're all like, Rafe and him are taking bets on it and whatever. And then when it's the waitress, she has that look in her eye. I was like, oh damn, played. So I agree. I wouldn't say, it's not that I don't trust her. I think it would be in character for someone of her skill set to put country first. So
sure, she's going to put Israel first, for sure.
Right now, though, put country first is work with the team, right? Joint operation. So CIA, Mossad, same page. But I either wouldn't blame her and wouldn't be surprised if something happens where everybody's expendable, from Rafe to Ben to Jed, and her and Tal just have to complete the mission, what's best for their country. So I wouldn't put it beyond them. I don't know if I would say it means I don't trust them, but I would say their self-interest is clearly going to supersede any sort of collaboration with the CIA. And I would expect that. That would be, to me, more expected than they're so loyal they do anything to protect Rafe and Ben, these new guys.
Yeah. No, you're right.
The self-interest above everything, particularly with the Israelis.
That nightclub scene, awesome. Like, getting to see Rafe and Edwards like in action as these. The one hang up I did have is that it's kind of hard for Rafe to be a spy.
He can't blend in, man.
He's freaking huge.
I completely agree. But I would say both of them. Ben with his tats, his clear military operator beard.
He's
hair.
easier to. I feel like he's easier to buy as a spy than not.
I agree.
I guess they get gussied up. They go to this nightclub, but like the suspense that we have, and going on that the chase at the end. I don't know. I feel
through
like
the town,
again
through the village.
With the cinematography of this, like they do a really good job of like, I don't know, just propelling the story forward with the visualizations.
Yeah. And it worked in the nightclub, but it also worked in that village. You're right. Going through the town, how they split up, they're geolocating each other so they know where support is needed. And then ultimately, here's what's pretty cool is, even though they had to be spies, they were trying to do this undercover thing that kind of stood out like a sore thumb. You knew that op would go south for many reasons.
Sure.
And so when it went south, nobody was surprised. But the other thing I like is Jed knew he would need guys of their caliber because of things like when the CIA is at its best, spies aren't going to be the machine gun heavy, shooting people up, doing that. Like, you shouldn't even know they were there if they were successful. But Jed knew it's not a perfect world. Shit's going to go south. And he wanted SEAL guys. And he particularly wanted two guys who already had that lingo, that relationship. He wanted hunters. And so when they're hunting and it comes to the final scene of this guy's cornered, he's a cornered animal, Rafe and Ben know exactly what they're going to do. He just shushes him and then says exactly in like a few words how they're going to cover each other. And I thought that was great to flush him out. How Rafe goes right, he's going to pie the corner and actually expose himself. He takes 2 shots at the brick wall. That way, he makes the guy jump out. And Ben is right there on the left, hidden, to take down the dude before he can hit Rafe. They knew, being SEAL brothers, exactly what to do in that situation. There was no ifs, ands, or buts. There's no chain of command. They knew exactly how to proceed. And that is part of, I would say, Jed's genius, that he knew it would come to that at some point.
Yeah, no, 100%.
makes me like it even more, because so many stories, that kind of shit doesn't happen, or it's out of the blue,
No.
or I'm supposed to believe these guys have been acting like brothers and operating forever when we just met them and we don't know who they are. In 2, maybe 3 episodes, you know everything about these two guys, their relationship, their working relationship downrange, their new relationship trying to figure out the spy thing. It's just great banter. I really enjoy their dialogue, their action scenes, their facial expressions. They're playing off each other just so well. They built that chemistry, and it's incredible.
Yeah, I think that is extended in the 3rd episode too, with
Agreed.
broadening, obviously bringing in this larger team. I would say that the episode 3 is largely a Muhammad Farouk episode, where he is, we get to see more of that character, but then, also Ben interacting with Landry. We also have this other guy, Ish, who I thought was pretty cool, and then he just gets offed at the end of the 3rd episode. I was like, damn, that was quick.
Yeah.
And he's like a decently famous actor. I mean, he's not like super famous, but Michael Early,
was shocked.
Michael Ealy, he's been in like a lot of different things, and the fact that he just one episode killed, boom.
Yeah, I was wondering, one, why that was done. Obviously, I think to raise the stakes that these people were dangerous. The guys surrounding Danawi, or the scientists that they were going after, whoever wanted to stop that deal from happening, these people were dangerous. So I think it upped the stakes. But it also, there was a short conversation where Mo had to go do the thing, which we should talk about. Mo had to go off the girl, who turned out to be, we thought, a Hezbollah kind of acquaintance of Danawi. Turns out she was the daughter, and she was really innocent. Once Mo showed his face, I was like, oh shit, he's got to kill her. And so it clicked what Ish was telling him, of like, Ish was like, it's hard. Like, will this be your first, not first person you've killed, but first person, like, not in a combat role, right? First person you killed as a civilian due to a CIA mission. And Ish is like, if you want to talk about it. Mo's like, no, I'm good. But Mo didn't do it. Like, Ish is the old school, kill anybody in cold blood. It's part of the mission. It's, I'm a spy, do the dirty business. Mo is that, but with virtue. And so he didn't do the thing. And I like how Tal, did you think he killed her or no? When he took that shot?
No, I knew that he didn't kill her.
The way it was filmed, it's like if you don't see somebody die on screen, they're alive.
They're not dead.
Yeah. So I didn't think he shot her, because the way they filmed that with just their eyes.
I thought they were gonna drag that out.
I thought
they were going to drag that out a little bit more. Like, we immediately get clarity on whether or not he killed her, like, the next scene.
Yeah, cut scene.
I thought that was going to be, like, something that, I thought it was going to be brought up later on in the season, like, he couldn't be trusted. I don't know. I don't know how they're going to, but then I guess it was more there to establish his bona fides as Mo is not this ruthless guy. Obviously he has a
cold-blooded killer, yeah.
Yeah, he has a past, but he's there to be trusted.
Then they talk about his backstory when he's explaining to Tal about Uday, and the Americans, let him get the final shot. Damn, and what Uday did to his family. That goes right along with what I said in episode 1 that I like, that Duran and Duran's family told you, why are we there? Why are our guys losing their lives in Iraq, in the sandbox? It's because Duran's exist. Duran's families exist and deserve somebody to stand up for them. Well, same thing with Mo, right? But Mo is saying, yes, I need the Americans, but I'm going to do it myself. I'm going to build this from the ground up. I'm going to be that guy who builds my country, defends my country, after what, the Ba'ath Party and Saddam and cronies did. And I think you're right. It's, as much as it's this nuclear physics, Iran kind of bent, it's still Mo's episode. I really think Mo steals the show.
I also just think it's a through line of this entire series, this, harkening back to episode 1, going back to this, like, what happened to the Iraqi people. And, like, Mo even has that monologue, like we mentioned in the car, of like, you should have seen what Mosul was like, what used to be like, and, like,
yeah,
it just gives more empathy to these characters and more I don't know, empathy to the
Humanity.
entire story. Like, it gives humanity to it all, and understand like why people are driven to do certain things, and why someone would want to stop Iran from getting nuclear weapons, because they might, want to take Iraq completely off the map, get rid of Mosul completely. So the meetup, the action scene at the very end, yeah, no, I it's great. I think anytime we go into a subway and we're
Right.
I think that scene kind of serves again as this escalation of Edwards as a villain. I'm gonna keep calling him a villain because of ultimately what he is, but like his transformation, we'll call it.
Sure.
Especially like there's a reason that they have him look and smile right at a little girl, and then off a dude, and then off a dude. That's intense, dude.
Yeah. It's almost like if you didn't know why he did that, you'd be like, this guy's bipolar. This is like some crazy stuff. He's sitting looking at the girl. But mission, man. Like, mission. He had to get that photo. He even snaps a photo of the dead guy after he kills him because that's their only lead, right? Who was following the scientist? Who didn't want the deal to go through? Who's involved in all this? Yeah. Oh, and Mo's escape. So even before Ben has to go off and Rafe just misses the train, right? So once that moment hits, you're like, Ben's on his own. I was like, we're going to see a seal. Like the seal going to seal right here. Once he was solo, like Dark Wolf, right? Lone wolf on that train. When those doors closed, I was like, that is a lone dark wolf who's not going to stop at nothing. Even sitting across from this little girl, genuinely making eye contact with her. He's not stopping. That guy's right over there. And what's got to be done, it's got to be done. He's a hardliner. He's the true believer right now. So yeah, I think that's awesome. But before we get there, equally as enthralling was Mo's escape. How they got the whole thing planned down to a T, and they have to go with their third option. First option's cut off, second option's cut off. They're all again geolocating each other, knowing where the turns are. And Tal is on Overwatch. She's been great. She's cleaned up some dead bodies. She's gotten the van out of there. She's doing all the tech stuff. She's a forger. She's getting him documents. Tal's also this Swiss Army knife who I really, really like. Again, she's Mossad, though, so how far can that trust go? We're not sure. But right now, I really like her. I liked her conversation with Mo. And ultimately, when Mo gets out of there, he even has to go through that like hardware shop, and he grabs the sledgehammer, knowing the guy's right there. He's cool, calm, collected. He's cool as a cucumber as he's mowing dudes down and running this SDR to get out of there. And who is it? Landry comes by with the van. So I love this team. I love the team up. Third episode, and you've got me this bought into not only the main characters, but the secondary team supporting the main characters. Never thought I would be this bought in, and I am.
Yeah, no, I'm honestly surprised. I'm honestly really shocked.
Pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, especially with, kind of our reservations and disappointment we were with the first season of The Terminalist. Like, and, maybe that's just because there's no book to compare this to. So what we have is what we have, and we're appreciating it. But like you said, like we've said before in the last episode, and we'll say it again this episode, I do think that they're being true to the universe, and they're being cognizant, respectful, and everything fits. So I'm hooked. These two episodes to me, ranking A, 100%.
A. I'm still a straight A.
It's an A.
I'm a critic, dude. Whether it's books or TV or movies we've covered in the past, I can find the little quirks. I can tear it apart. The little things that go wrong spiral into big things. They bother me. I can't gel with a story because there's minor things that are tripping me up. The buy-in factor, right? If I can't buy in, I'm out. I might not even finish that thing. It's so completely the opposite that it's refreshing because I'm usually the first and biggest critic of TV shows and movies. My thing is don't waste my time. If the product is not quality, I don't want you wasting my time. So I can turn these things off. I can pull them apart. And for me to give 2 straight A's through 3 episodes, I'm a harsh critic. So I got to say, I think the show is doing phenomenally well. it rightfully is deserving all the praise. I've seen it advertised, billboards, their marketing campaign seems to really be hitting. A lot of stuff on social media, a lot of commentary on YouTube. The Terminalist first season did not have a lot of commentary, like third-party accounts wanting to review it, something like a Screen Rant or these other groups. Well, now they're doing interviews with the actors. The marketing wing of this thing, I think, is way, way, way higher than it was with the last season. I think everybody from top down, Chris Pratt's production team, Amazon, Jack Carr and his entourage and enterprise, they figured it out. They really figured out the secret sauce.
Oh, they did. It has me optimistic about True Believer.
Like True Believer, right. Agreed. One thing, though, you said, which really struck me, the best parts of The Terminalist season 1 were kind of the parts not from the book. Every time they tried to go to the book, it got clunky, didn't live up to expectations. The writers, when given the ability to write in universe, but not in book, did the best script, the best dialogue, the best screenwriting of that season. And now we're seeing that completely. They're in universe, respect to the universe, but not on page, which allows them to be screenwriters, right? Like, create dialogue, create characters, create stories without being tied down to someone else's vision, Jack Carr's vision. So I just really like how all that is gelling.
100%.
What's next?
All right, we got, dude, I gotta go. So today we're recording episode 5 just dropped. So like I want to go watch episode 4 and 5 so we can talk about it like immediately.
Do you like that reveal? Do you like how they didn't dump them all at once? I kind of do.
Oh, I meant to ask you about that. Like, so they dropped the first 3 at once, and now they're doing it weekly. And this is like a thing now that people have done. It's like we're gonna drop a couple because everyone knows that if you just drop one,
the
no
pilot,
one really watches anymore.
No one comes back to the second.
Unless you have like an amazing pilot
has to be great.
Is going to hit.
Right.
No one ever does that. It's at least 2 episodes, 3 episodes. And then
I also didn't like the big drops though, of all of it at once, like the COVID era. I'm glad we moved on from that, to be honest.
Well, because Terminalist was all at once, right?
I think they did it similar. No, I think they did episodes 1 and 2. Actually, you know what? Episodes 1 and 2 were both filmed and written as one giant episode, so they released 1 and 2 at the same time. Then weekly,
no,
but
no, it was released all on July 1st. I remember that's why it was like so daunting to me, because we had to like the entire season was dropped.
Content.
We wanted to cover like every episode.
Yeah, you're right.
We obviously didn't have time to like binge it all and then record like back to back to back. I like it. It gives us a
you're right.
I don't know. I want to get back. I wish the world would get back to these like
the water cooler.
I don't know, water cooler moments. Like, there's no more like cultural zeitgeist really anymore. Like unless like a TikTok or meme hits off, you know, like Hawk Tua, like there's
buy your meme coins.
There's nothing.
You're right.
You know, I remember back to like
Lost.
I mentioned Game of Thrones before, but Lost. You know, hell, even 24 back in the day. Like
24, I would go West Wing. You know, real back in the day. Yeah, it was the talk of the town, or even these other dramas. I don't watch them, but the talk of the town that was a drama. You knew it was the show like, everybody needed to see.
Mad Men, Breaking Bad, you know, Homeland.
I don't expect anything in The Terminalist to be the zeitgeist, the water cooler moment. I think, like,
sure,
Rosie said, my wife, last episode, it is for a particular demographic. So I don't expect it to be that wide, but within that demographic, create a community where those conversations can be had, like our book club group chat. If everybody just watched the whole season and wanted to talk about the end, and then it took months and months and months for other people to roll it out, we never really get to have a conversation about it. That's why, like a book club, when you have a dedicated book and people read it, that's a lot of fun.
Sure.
As opposed to everyone's going to read it months apart. Some people won't remember it. Some people will have never read it. I don't expect the Terminal List to be that for the wider culture, but within this subculture of folks who love thrillers, military stuff, Jack Carr's fan base, his faithful, to get something like this to talk about each week or text somebody, what episode you up to? I watched 3. Oh, I'm going to watch 3 tonight. And then, within those small circles to recreate that is a blast. COVID blew that out of the water when every single show was just dropped all the time. Everybody was at home so many hours. They could watch whatever they wanted in any order they wanted, whenever they wanted, and binge it for as long as they wanted. I got tired of that.
Yeah, me too. Like it's, people were watching all of Friends again. And it's like, yeah, I've watched Friends,
yep.
but I can't remember, back when I was, I don't know, in 5th grade, and like I probably shouldn't have been watching the show Friends in 5th grade, but me and my mom would watch Friends like every Thursday. I remember like going back and there was other friends at school that would watch it, and like having those moments just mean more. I don't know, just it's like the Monday Night Football, like you
Right.
watch your team play,
right?
You go to work and you can talk about it. Like,
right.
It's very hard to do that nowadays because, I'm on season 2 of episode, I'm on episode 8 of season 2. Oh, I'm on episode 10 of season 12. Like,
Yeah.
what? Like, and we're going to have a 1-hour conversation about maybe like 7 seasons. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. Similar to what kind of MCU stuff was, my buddies at work was 3 of us. We eat lunch all the time. Anytime an MCU like phase 1 movie came out, it was everything we wanted to talk about for a week straight. We'd want to have lunch together just to talk about that movie. Now there's 37 of them. They're on like phase 16. We don't even talk about them anymore. One, they became crap, but it's just like they don't have that gravity, that gravitas of you see it, you want to go talk about it. You're anticipating for months or a year the next one. It's all just like, oh, all these movies just keep coming. I'll watch a few of them. Some of them are crap. Some of them are good. It's like, no, I want that really well-created thing that you have to wait for, and it builds up, and everybody watches it. Then you talk about it.
Yeah, I think like ultimately, streaming has kind of done that to a lot of things. I think, especially with Disney, like when I was avid. Like I remember the day, it was my birthday, 2019, going to see Endgame in the theater and like being so excited, and that
Yep.
being the pinnacle. And then like, again, COVID, they're dropping movies day and date the same time they're in the theater. You could just watch them online.
Yeah.
It's like,
that's weird.
I'm glad, I guess, anyways, we're ranting, we're going off topic, but I think like it's glad to see that we're taking a step back from that, and that there's a happy medium we can have, like,
Yeah.
all right, a little bit of a binge because one, we have to have at least 3 episodes now or 2 episodes now because we're used to that. But then, I'm okay waiting a week. I want to like, I get excited about when an episode drops. So
completely. Dude, do you remember the feeling sitting in a movie theater and the Star Wars theme drops and the scrolling text comes up? That was an unreal feeling. And I love the Star Wars expanded universe stuff and all the other cartoons, but it's just like, I don't know if you could recreate the feeling of seeing a Star Wars just opening scene, opening credits drop, cue the music. It's special.
I used to get like that seeing the Marvel logo come up.
Marvel had that for a little while. Yeah, the early stuff, the phase 1 stuff.
You get that tingly feeling, and then it's saturation, right?
Exactly. It's oversaturated.
They started having, they had, they had 6 movies in like 6 years. They went from that to having 6 movies in 1 year.
Yeah.
Plus like 5 TV shows.
TV shows you had to keep up with, yeah.
And having everything interconnected, just like, even.
You know what lost me? We're on a rant now. What lost me was when the post-credit scenes used to be so powerful. Everyone was on the edge of their seats for the post-credit scenes. And then it became, What? Who's that? What happened? What? That person's in which show? I didn't watch that one. So it's like even these post-credit scenes, which they were like famous for, which was their big nail biters. Don't leave, be telling other people in the theater. And now I'm like, who? I don't
They're
even
the
know.
ones that
Who is
created
that character?
it, right? Like,
yeah. But then it got away from them. The bit went too long,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because
all right.
They were impactful, but they ultimately didn't matter. Yeah. Anyways,
They
we're
used
going
to,
down
but
a long rant. But anyways, I think this show, again, to bring it back to Dark Wolf, it doesn't rely on Terminal List season 1.
No.
It can exist by itself. If you watch season 1, great. If you read the books, great. If not, it's a pretty good series by itself. So
I think if you watch this series, just thinking episodes 2 and 3 with this pivot to CIA and these guys being the dark, Ben Edwards being the Dark Wolf, and these missions are going on, and then you think of Red Sky Morning, it's like they're really in the same universe. They parallel each other. There's so much about them, Reese being CIA and Vic Rodriguez. So I just feel like they're respecting the craft, respecting the tradition, and building something even better than what we already had. And it fits so seamlessly into the universe. So hats off to the team. And makes you want to read the books.
yeah.
This series, number one thing we have to measure it against is, does it bring new viewers to the books? And so far what I'm seeing, I don't know how it doesn't.
Yeah. No, 100%. All right, so next time we're on the pod, we will be covering episodes 4 and 5. Can't wait. Before we get to that episode, we got to thank our patrons, including our Deputy Director, Sherry F., Brad E., our special agents, Adam, Mike, Ben, Daryl, George, Matt, Dawn, and Chris. Please go subscribe to all 3 seasons of No Limits. You can find us at thrillerpod.com or on Twitter and Instagram at thrillerpodcast. And as always, just let Mo be Mo.